Good evening, everybody. I can see we've got some people in the chat already. Hello to Ismail, if you're still watching. We've got Doggo Boy, we've got Andrew Curry, we've got Devez ones. I can't even pronounce that, I do apologise. How are we all going this evening? How are we all doing? Tipex Guy, hello, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Now, how is the audio? Is it sounding okay? I've got this new microphone. Just wanted to make sure that it sounds okay. We're going to get rid of the music. Just let me get rid of the music. Andrew Curry going good. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Dealing with things as best we possibly can in the current scenario and situation in the world. But I'm getting there, definitely getting there. Sounds great, perfect, right, okay. I'm just going to go straight away and change the scene. Here we are in the simulator. Let me just pin the chat up here so I can see everybody. So welcome everybody to yet another flight. Or live stream for the first time in a while. Apologies, I've had to cancel the last two streams due to issues with the microphone and also issues with various other parts of my life. So it's good to be back and to be able to do another live stream such as this. Andrew Curry sounds good, brilliant, fantastic. So for those of you who have completely missed the title, which is kind of impossible. This is the Yorkie Air Cargo 196 flight from Doncaster to Frankfurt. It's obviously not a real world flight, but we're just doing it for a little bit of fun today. And it should take us about an hour and 31 minutes to complete. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go and request boarding. And I have modified GSX to hopefully work properly in terms of cargo and stuff. So with a bit of luck, everything should work as expected for today's flight. But, as ever, this is live, so anything could happen. Going to get the checklists up. Right, side cargo. Oops, I hate those textures when that happens. Side cargo, then. I'm just going to have one external power on, so I can open up the side cargo. I'm going to go to the doors. And where are we? Side cargo. Open that. All the rest of the cargo appears to be open. GSX is still going to shout at us, obviously. I'll also open up entry 1 and entry 5. There we go. So we've got some boarding on the go. So as I said, hope we're all well today. Or hope you're all well today. I think we're all trying our best during these uncertain times. Kenny Williamson, good to see you. Hi from Glasgow. Hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, we're all doing the best we can, I think, to try and deal with the situation that's happening at the moment. But it's always nice to be able to do something like this and talk to everybody and see how everybody's doing. So let's jump straight in then. We've got the parking brake set already, that's good. I've already set the altimeter as well. The cheater's way out, just press B and it just resets it, it's brilliant. We can go ahead and get some IRSs. Like so. The window heats, we can switch those on. Nav lights are already on. Catering we don't really need, I'm not going to bother with catering today. Fuel and payload then. So today's flight we are going to be taking a total of 25,381 kilograms of fuel. I'm also going to modify the payload and just set us to about sort of 90%. Just to add a little bit more variability to it. It's a bit boring just going with the default sort of load level, if you will. So that's that sorted. Let me just check and see if we've got any fuel in the centre, which we haven't. We can switch on the fuel pumps. I'm going to turn off the cross feeds. We will set ourselves up on the MCP. It's actually been a while since we flew into Frankfurt, believe it or not. The last time we officially flew into Frankfurt? What the hell am I saying? The last time we officially flew into Frankfurt, I think it was like 2018, maybe 2019. I know I did some before that as well. Oh boy, how long is a flight? So the flight should take about an hour and 31 minutes. But obviously, we'll see how that goes and see whether that's going to be the case or not. We can go ahead and request clearance as well.
Clearance delivery, Boeing, Yankee, Alpha, Charlie 1906, with ATIS request clearance.
Boeing YAC 1906, cleared to EDDF via ROG Alpha 2 Charlie transition BOD Sierra Oscar departure and then as filed. Climb and maintain flight level 70. Expect
7,000 on the initial.
Within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 128.05. Squawk 1.
And what runway is it going to give us? Let's have a look. 02 today. The heading for 02 is 018.
Flight level 70, expect flight level 320 within 10 minutes after departure.
So stick that in there.
128.05, squawk 1076, QNH 10.
And I'm going to go down here and just select the doors page on there.
Read back correct. Contact ground control on 118.65.
Echo Golf Charlie November is our departure. And we're at gate 5. And we've also got a co-route set up as well, so EGCN to EDDF. 02 for the departure. Our flight number is going to be Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. We can activate and execute that. And the cruise altitude for today is going to be 320. Our reserves are going to be 4.90 with a cost index of 80. Not sure what the ballast button, for some reason I'm sure that's supposed to calculate things. Or calculate itself. I'm not going to use a D rate today, but we are going to be using flaps 5. I'm going to select that departure as well. So the Roger to Charlie, which is there, and it's not actually given us... Oh no, it has. The BODSO transition. Execute that. Close that window. And that should give us the V speeds. So 155 on the V2, and it's actually given us a trim value this time. For some reason in the last flight it didn't give me that. But yeah, it's given me the trim this time. So V2 is 155. We can arm LNAV and VNAV as well. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. Pack 1 can come on. And at this point, we might as well go down and just select XPDR on the transponder and give it a quick test. Even though I'm sure we know it's going to pass. Shouldn't have any problems. Okay, so that's passed. I'm also going to go ahead and put some information in on the fix page. So EDDF. We can just put some radius rings around Frankfurt. Like so, and then stick that back onto the legs page. We've got Takeoff Ref on the left, and we've got the legs page on the right. And in the centre here, we've got the doors page. And now it's just a literal case of waiting for the cargo loading to complete. Got some nice clear weather. We are using Active Sky. And I'm not sure why it's telling me that the weather is actually as clear as it is, because it doesn't look like that outside out my window anyway. But nevertheless, we should be okay. We are using Ultimate Traffic Live, so hopefully it will behave itself and actually work for the duration of the flight. Sometimes it doesn't want to. It's always nice when it actually decides to work. I wonder how long we've got on the cargo loading then, because we started it quite a while ago. 47%. We've got a while to wait yet. Well, set up EFB. Again, for those of you who've never seen this, this is the tool that I use to navigate around the airport. So, for example, today we know that we're going to be using runway 02. So we click on runway 02, and it'll actually calculate sort of the taxi path that you need to take. Would highly recommend it to every single flight simmer out there. Flyby in the background, no more. Yeah, unfortunately, we all know what happened to Flyby. It's actually, I don't know why Ultimate Traffic Live, I wish that it would update itself to actually remove sort of aircraft and liveries and things like that that no longer fly. But unfortunately it doesn't. It leaves them in. It doesn't actually update itself. There's a new tool out there somewhere. They've got Wizz Air there as well, which I'm not really sure that we see many of those at Doncaster now, actually. I've not noticed any. It is quite sad. But whenever I'm in the simulator, I very rarely see any AI traffic coming in or out of this particular airport. There might be the occasional one, but that's about it. Never really any sort of large amount of traffic. Be interesting to see what sort of traffic we're going to get over at Frankfurt. But yeah, again, it doesn't update itself, so that's a bit of a shame. So 80% cargo load in progress now. Not too bad. And again, we are in the new Yorkie Air Cargo livery, the 747-400. Very much a rush job. You can see I didn't really... If we zoom in, you can see like little imperfections and stuff. And obviously I couldn't really be bothered to get this nose cone sort of striped, the rest of the body, but there we go. But I'm happy with it. I mean, it works, it does the job, until I can come up with something a little bit better. I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to making liveries. Very, very new to it. I think I've done it once in the past, the 777. I think I've done it for the 737 as well. But I think this is the first time I've actually made one for the 747. One thing I wish they would do, the terminal building, this is UK 2000 scenery for Doncaster, by the way. The terminal building is a lot more detailed on the X-Plane payware version of this scenery. I can't remember who it is that makes it for X-Plane. but it looks so much better and so much more sort of accurate. I wish that UK 2000 would update it for P3D. I think the X-Plane version's got like transparent windows and stuff you can see inside. The terminal building's a lot better modelling, or modelled. Wizz Air back at Glasgow in limited flights. Yeah, I think there's a lot of them now that are starting to come back and starting to get back into service. But then obviously we're having all these worries again, aren't we, that there's going to be sort of local lockdowns and stuff like that. As you know, I personally don't think we've seen the last of the virus, but there we go. Mike Smith, hello, good to see you, thanks for tuning in. We are at 93 cargo loading progress, so shouldn't be too much longer, and we should be able to get out of here. But yeah, back onto the airport. It's a good airport, don't get me wrong, but I just wish it would look a little bit more accurate. I know around the other side of here as well, it's very blurry. Like the whole thing is very blurry compared to, you know, other versions of this scenery, but there we go. It works, it does the job, it looks decent. So there we go. So how many people... we've got some smoke happening, or steam or whatever in the background there, with those chimneys. Didn't notice that. So how many people have we got in the chat? Let's have a look. Or how many viewers have we got, should I say? That's probably the best. 23 people. Thank you, each and every one of you, or thank each and every one of you for tuning in this evening. So we're 100% loaded, nearly. We've got this last crate going onto the aircraft. Razian, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good to see you. Right, so that's the last of the cargo, I believe. Captain K. Peterkin, hello. Fine, thank you, how are you? So is that it? Yep. Boarding's complete, right. Let's go straight down and close every single one of the doors with one click. I love that. Absolutely love it. So we've not got any jetways connected. Doors are on their way to being closed. Doing absolutely tremendous. Good to hear, good to hear. Right, that's all the doors. Perfect. So, we can transition onto APU power. If it'll work, there we go. Hydraulics can come on. And the beacon, you can request start and push.
Yankee Alpha Charlie 1906. Request start up and push back.
And we can get rid of those ground connections as well.
1906. Start up and push back approved.
Start and push has been approved.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 1906.
So without further ado then, we can prepare for pushback and depart. Or departure.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So I've actually moved the chat window as well. I can
Locking gear.
finally see who's in the chat and everything. How come you use Pro ATCX? Isn't it better to fly on VATSIM? No, I just prefer to fly offline. Family commitments and things. I can't always be sat there permanently at the controls and be able to respond to people, so it's a hell of a lot easier to have OATCX do that for me. So we're going to go, we're going to use an autosaved quick edit pushback.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes are released. We can start engines 4 and 3.
Clear. Start at will.
Can you do a flight from Glasgow to New York? I can certainly consider it, yeah. It would be a very long stream, but I've already done like a 11-hour stream on the channel, so yeah, I'm sure we can do that at some point, not a problem. I've got no idea when it'll be, but there we go. Okay. 4 and 3 started, we can go for 2 and 1. Okay, parking brakes have been set.
Confirmation for good engine start.
I'm going to go ahead and confirm that we've had a good engine start because, oh, there we go, it has just happened. Right, okay, so hydraulics, packs, APU off. Don't you start outside engines first? I have no idea, I've always done it sort of that way. From right to left.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin.
Right, so APU's off. Flaps next. And we can get rid of the fuel page, actually. We don't need that. And trim. So we're looking at plus 5.3. So if we go down, there's 5. I'm just going to leave it around there. That'll do. See the flaps coming down as well.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
We might as well request taxi while we're at it.
RAF Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 1906. Request taxi.
Boeing YAC 1906. Taxi via Charlie Alpha to runway 02.
Via Charlie Alpha to runway 02. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 1906.
Can you fly to Nigeria? I've got some amazing scenery. Yeah, I can certainly consider that. There's a lot of places in the simulator that I would love to fly to that I just haven't got round to doing yet. So it would be nice to get some more scenery for some different locations. Right. Taxi and turn-offs. He's going to get blinded, but there we go. We've already been cleared to taxi to the runway, so we might as well release the parking brake, spool up the engines, and make our way there. So we're on Charlie at the moment. We're going to be going over to Alpha after this. And we can see how much fun this is going to be. It's a very sort of narrow taxiway in my opinion, this. Probably me just being me, but there we go. Will you be grabbing MS? Yes, I will absolutely be using FS 2020 once it's released. And it will definitely be featured on the channel. I usually do it 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, some people do it sort of... there are certain like SOPs that some people follow. I mean, I personally, I'm a little bit sort of laid back. I just tend to just, you know, do it anyway. Anyway, I feel like, basically. I've never really been one for following the rules. Now there's a weird texture bug that happens. You'll see in a moment the yellow taxi line starts to sort of disappear. Which is a little bit unusual. It might not do it now because I've cleared the shaders before we started the stream, so it might not actually do it. Rules are made to be broken. Exactly, Brazian. That is exactly what I think. What's the fun in having rules if you can't break them? Most of the time, yeah. Right, so let's get down the taxi path. Not quite in the centre, but I don't suppose it really matters. We'll be okay. I'm terrible for sort of veering off the taxiway. So the bug's not actually happened. It's usually here that it happens. It starts to sort of disappear and go a little bit weird, but doesn't seem to have happened yet. Is Hotfix 2 more stable? To be honest, I've installed it and I've updated it and everything, but I've not had a great deal of time to really test, you know, to see whether or not there's any major differences, but I know there's quite a lot of things from the changelog that have been sort of modified. What's the VRAM usage? I actually, I've not got a program that I can actually use. In fact, I probably have, but I've never actually had a look. Taxi looks tiny compared to the Queen. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it's not very big, is it? It's not very wide at all. And there we go. Not sure if the taxiways are wide enough, but they always seem to backtrack the runway. Yeah, they do tend to do that quite a bit, actually. I'm not sure whether it's because of sort of the lack of sort of exits to the runway that they, you know, they can't stop quick enough and they have to go all the way to the end. I'm not sure, but I've definitely seen over the past few sort of weeks and months, I've seen an increase in larger aircraft coming in and out of DSA. So here we go, that's the weird bug. I'm not sure whether you can see it, but the taxi line sort of disappears. Quite unusual. What's the flight time? The flight time is 1 hour and 31 minutes approximately. And at the moment we're set to a local sim time of 8:09 AM. Or 7:09 Zulu. Don't speak too soon, yeah. So we should hear from the ATC. There we go. That was good timing.
128.77, Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906.
So I'm actually going to contact Tower nice and early.
Tower, Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906, holding short of runway 02, request departure.
Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906, line up runway 02.
Lining up runway 02.
Okay,
Boeing,
we can
Yankee
line straight
Alpha,
up.
Charlie 1906.
They've updated Glasgow 2020 HD, wow. I'm going to have to check that out, I think. What's the cruising altitude? Today it will be 320.
Approaching 02.
So here we are on the runway, just lining up.
On runway
Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906, wind 090 at 2, runway 02, cleared for takeoff, good flight.
Right, so let's get configured. So we've got the transponder. We can switch on the strobe lights, landing lights, and taxis can come off. Let's get nice and lined up properly. We can spool up. Start the clock and toga.
Airspeed alive.
V1.
Rotate.
And rotate.
V2. Positive rate of climb.
And gear up.
Approaching Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906. With you, passing 700, forward flight level 70. Boeing, YAC 19.
And I'm going to go straight ahead and switch on the autopilot. So flap 10,
Fire Romeo Oscar Golf.
gear locked,
Charlie transition, Bravo Oscar Delta.
turn offs off.
Oscar departure, climbing 2, flight level 70, Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906.
I think I should have done was actually set the seatbelts, but there's nobody really there apart from crew. 160 now.
Flight level 160, Boeing, Yankee Alpha, Charlie 1906.
And we can raise the flaps to flap 5. Beautiful departure, thank you very much. Oh, that beauty. Oh yeah, absolutely. So flap 1. And we can go flaps up. Really is an annoyance, that texture loading issue. A strange departure there, going back on ourselves a little bit. And we can switch over to standard pressurization. Let me just make sure the flight plan's actually loaded into EFB so we know where we're going. There we go. And there we go. Maybe in hotfix 3 it'll be fixed. Yeah, more than likely. Is the texture loading issue better or worse? To be fair, I've not really noticed any difference. I mean, look at this. If you click to an external view and then back in again, it seems to sort it out, but it's very, very annoying. And it certainly didn't happen in previous versions of the simulator. But there we go. I don't suppose we can really do much about it. That's a bit of a weird thing. Look at that. Trees down there. Bit strange. So here comes 10,000. Beautiful. It's like a power station down there. 2 power stations. Epic shot of the 740. Yeah, I absolutely love this this aircraft. As I've probably said many times, it is probably my favourite aircraft of all time. It literally just has to be. Oh, and there's Active Sky. Doing its thing, throwing some weather at us randomly. I hope they update that soon, because it's very, very annoying. Let me just bug up this heading to where we're going to be going, which is approximately there. And we've got the radius rings set up as well. You can see if you look on the display now, it doesn't actually look that far away, to be fair. ETA on EFB says an hour and 23 minutes. We should arrive at 08:39 Zulu in the sim, and it's 07:17 Zulu at the moment. My favourite aircraft is 777. Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. 777 and the 747 are 2 of my favourite aircraft. I would have to choose personally. I would choose a 747 over the 777, but that's just me. I do love the 777 as well.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Identify, proceed on course. Roger. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
So we're looking good. It looks like we've got a speed restriction at the moment because we should be above 250 knots, but there must be a speed restriction there. I'm following the retirement of the Virgin Atlantic. Yeah, I see them going. Yeah, it's sad. It's always sad when you see the retirement, like the last flight of an aircraft. There we go. That speed restriction's gone now. It's always sad, especially when it's like a legendary aircraft as well, like a beautiful livery like Virgin. I wonder what runway it's going to give us. So we can expect 25 left approach ILS. Right, okay. In that case, I am indeed going to put that information in. So let's just get that back up again. Just because it's like under 2 hours near enough. Like an hour and a few minutes before we're supposed to like arrive, so we'll do it nice and early. So ILS 25 left. Where are we? So ILS 25 left, the roll 25 Sierra. Or 25, there we go. And is there any transition? No, it doesn't say there is, so we'll just do that without one. Check for any discontinuities. Which there aren't any, that's perfect. So it's 25 left, we can put the information in here as well. So 25 left is 111.15 at 248 on the ILS. Just get that nice and ready, if you will. It's a while yet, but I always like to sort it out and get it in there. 260 now.
Flight level 260, Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Why do you always fly that late? I have to go to bed. Oh, I do apologise. It's due to my family commitments. The only time I can really sort of do streams and things like that is obviously when the kids are in bed and things like that. It would be absolute bedlam trying to get something like that done if they were awake. Good luck for landing. Thank you very much. Oh yes, I do apologise, Ismail. Again, I apologise if I pronounced the name wrong as well. It's I've considered doing them like early morning, but it would have to literally be very early morning, like 6 AM UK time or something like that, before they wake up, because it's a whole routine that you have, obviously, when you've got kids and stuff like that. It's not a good idea to get in the way of that routine, so that is the main reason that I try to stick to the later times. Don't worry, I'll see the episode repeated. Yep, absolutely, no problem. You can always see it on the channel once it's up. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. My dad says now version 747's gone. I should try to be a fan of the 330 or the 787. Yeah, you see, I like the 787, and I actually like the A330. But... oh, here we go. 320, there we go. We finally got up to the cruise altitude. Finally been cleared to that. Yeah, moving on to the A330, as I was saying, and the 787. I've not flown them for a long time in the simulator, but I do love both of those aircraft. It's just with the some reason, me and Airbus, I'll spend a few flights doing them, or spend a few flights using the A330 or the A320 or whatever, and I'll get used to it. And then when I go back to the Boeing aircraft, that's when I forget everything I've learnt again, and so that's why I'm mainly a sort of like a Boeing man, really. But I do like the Airbus. It's not that I don't like the Airbus. I just find it more difficult to get to know. Can you overlay the route to the main screen? I certainly can. I can just bring EFB up over here. And this, if I take off moving map, this is the route that we're going to be using. So we've departed from Echo Golf Charlie November. And apologies, we've got some ATC in the background. And this is basically the route that I've been using. It's been calculated through SimBrief. So it's a nice short route, nothing too complicated.
Good day. With you, passing flight level 2504, flight level 320.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196, roger.
I have to say the Virgin livery looks quite stunning on the A350. I'm sure I've seen that one. I am sure I've seen that livery. I know that we've had a few, I'm sure there were Virgin A330s, or definitely A330s anyway, that have landed at Doncaster to be sort of put into storage. Boeing gives you a more hands-on experience, Airbus on the other hand is more automated. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I noticed that straight away. It was like, it's weird because obviously I learnt the Boeing aircraft first, and like you say, with that being more hands-on and you know, less automated than the Airbus, I thought, well, how come I can't learn the Airbus as easy then? You know, it should be easier, but for me it's just, I don't know, I just found it more difficult to get used to. Have you flew with my champion airline, Virgin Atlantic, before, and what's your favourite aircraft and the name on the side of the aircraft? I've not actually flown with Virgin Atlantic before. In terms of what's my favourite aircraft, I would have to say the 747. Yeah, so any particular livery, I'm not really bothered. I just like the 747. I've seen videos on the 350. I hope to go into Orlando. Yeah, I would love to go and visit Orlando. That's one of the many places that I'd love to go over to. Not just in the simulator, but obviously in real life as well. But I can safely say I've not actually travelled that much over the past few years. But there we go. And another random injection from Active Sky there. You'll get it eventually, practice becomes perfect. Yeah, definitely. It's literally, like you say, just a case of time, so... You know, practice, 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 if you will. I've flown VS 75 and 76 a few times. Yeah, I've never actually flown with Virgin Atlantic. My favourite name is English Rose. Yeah, that's a decent name. That's a nice name. I've been to Orlando before and it's beautiful. Yeah, I've heard so many stories of how beautiful it is, but I've never actually got round to going. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the crossfeeds back on, because a little birdie told me that you should set, in certain circumstances, the crossfeeds off until you reach your cruising altitude. And then apparently that helps to prevent the message coming up where you're saying that you've got a fuel imbalance. So whether that works or not, we'll soon find out.
London Center, United 71, with you at flight level 360.
United 71, identified.
So we've got some traffic in the simulator as well that seems to be out and about. Lovely view of the ocean as well. Look at that. There's reflections. The sun's obviously up there. What does it say on our ETA? Let's have a look. That's 34 minutes, believe it or not. You can see we will start to sort of descend at around 150 nautical miles away from Frankfurt. That's what I usually try and do. My last champion airline was Thomas Cook till they gone. Yeah, a lot of them. It's just such a really sad story because obviously I mean the pandemic certainly hasn't helped. You know, with the situation with airlines and things like that. But yeah, when you hear about all these airlines going bust and you know going into administration and all this, you think to yourself, what on earth is going to happen to the world of aviation? It's quite uncertain at the moment. Right, what I'm going to do, guys, because we'll very, very soon be approaching the 150-mile radius ring there, I'm going to take my bathroom break now, so I'm going to put a little message up here in the top left, so everybody knows that I'm not ignoring you. I will literally be just a few moments. Right, okay, so I'm back. What time are we on? 7:33 Zulu. In 22 minutes now since we took off. We've got quite a while to go yet. Jensen, hello. I'm doing great, how are you? Good to see you in the chat. Let's go onto the progress page and just take a quick look on here. Because normally this will tell you something completely different to what the FB tells you. So, according to this, we should arrive into Frankfurt at 8:22 Zulu. But if I go and bring up the FB, what does it say? 8:06 Zulu. So it's not always, one of them isn't as accurate as the other, and I can't decide which. Fine, thanks, great to be here. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Great to have you here. It's always nice to see some familiar faces in the chat. Or familiar names, should I say. So we've got 25 people, it says on here, viewing the stream at the moment. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. 26 now. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the Yorkie Air Cargo, even if I can even speak, 196 from Doncaster to Frankfurt. And we are currently at our cruise level today of 320.
London Center EC7002. With you at flight level 320.
EC7002 identified.
In 2004, I've flown Travel City Direct. Wow, so you've done quite a bit of travelling then.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Contact Amsterdam on 1.
It's something I'd love to do. I'd love to travel the world. That is one thing that I would love to do. Not in the simulator, but in real life, obviously. I think we've already near enough done that in the simulator.
Good day. With you at flight level 320.
Boeing YAC-1906 identified. Continuous flight.
Continue home navigation.
In 2004 until 2020. Wow.
1012. Expedite climb to flight level 320.
Expedite climb to flight level 320, Jersey 1012.
KLM 765. Climb to flight level 270.
Got quite a bit of traffic round us, to be fair.
KLM 765.
A lot more than usual. I mean, I think it's more than what is actually being shown on EFB. It's got like, see what I mean? They're just coming in all the time on the ATC.
1602 identified.
I just hope that P3D can manage it and we don't end up, or I should say Pro ATCX can manage it. Sometimes if you had loads of traffic, it can sometimes affect Pro ATCX, like as if it's putting pressure on it or whatever. So you end up requesting something and it will respond to a completely different aircraft but fail to actually acknowledge that you've responded. But then when you bring up the in-flight menu and request it again, it's not there, so it's as if it's requested it for you but it actually hasn't and it's not acknowledged it. Are you using OBS to stream? Yes, I'm actually using Streamlabs OBS. I had a very scary moment on Travel City. Do you want me to tell you? Yeah, go ahead. I'm always interested to hear about these experiences. I mean, I'm terrible for watching sort of like scariest flights ever and, you know, stuff like that on YouTube, that, you know, these you know, different series that you can watch and stuff. I've always been interested in stuff like that, like documentaries and stuff. So anything in terms of scary moments and stuff, yeah, feel free. So Amsterdam should be to our left somewhere over here. And you can see that we are very quickly approaching that radius ring there. One thing I did forget to do is just select the arrival information into EFB, so just bear with me a moment. So arrivals, We're obviously going to be arriving onto ILS 25 left. So that's there. Using the roll 25 Sierra, there we go.
Climb and maintain flight level 230, easy 8871.
Just allows me to put that information in. So this is a very weird and wonderful approach. You can see that obviously we come in from Rollis, come down, go all the way and follow the side of the runway to the side of the airport there, and back on ourselves, and then come in. So hopefully Pro ATCX is actually going to give us the right information, because last time we did this they never gave us clearance to land or anything, and we had to disable Pro ATCX. So hopefully that won't happen this time, and we should be okay, especially if this correctly puts itself into the FMC, as it should do. Which actually, if we go to the legs page, and if I can remember how to do it, oops, would be helpful if I knew where I was going. Go to the plan page, then bring this up. It should allow us to step through each one of the waypoints. So that looks as if it's okay. That's exactly what we should be looking at. And then obviously missed approach, and we go to wherever. But yeah, that looks fine to me. On the travel series, on the travel city 747-200, we were over the Atlantic at 38,000 feet, and halfway down towards Orlando we had to dive down from 38,000 to New York JFK because the roof had came apart. Oh my god. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. That would put me off flying for life, I think. The lights went off and people were screaming. I'm not surprised. Goodness me. That must have been absolutely horrible. So as you can see, been in the air for about 31 minutes. Or it's been 31 minutes since the takeoff roll, at least. Here is the first radius ring, 150 miles out. And that is usually when I bring up the in-flight menu. I'll go to other requests, and I'll request to initialise the descent. I like to do it that early because I've done it for some reason. It's probably because I've not configured it properly, but for some reason, where it actually says top of descent and stuff like that, it doesn't always get us down fast enough, for me at least, so it's probably something I'm doing wrong, but it's always worked fine if I just start the descent at 150. Lovely clouds while ever they last. Not sure if anybody else has had any issues with active sky where it randomly takes away the clouds without any sort of like transition period, but it's only the latest version of active sky seems to do it. If I did that, then I was looking out the left wing, and if I go back into the cockpit and it was all black, and then I went back to the external very quickly and back to the internal, textures load fine, so I don't understand why they don't load fine in the first instance. Because it's not as if it's taking time. It can't be taking time to load anything properly, because I literally do that, and then they load perfectly fine. Very weird. I was screaming my eyes out, but when we got to JFK we had to wait 10 hours for United 747 to Orlando. Us passengers, my god. What an experience. Active Sky has been a bit twitchy lately. Yes, I agree. Literally just throwing things in there at the last minute. That's what it's been doing to me. I even had like for some reason it crashed the sim, and it brought up like a message saying something to do with the GPU has failed to do this or failed to do that. But it was only when Active Sky was running. If I used one of the preset weather themes in P3D, even a complex one, it worked fine. It didn't do it. So it's obviously a bug with Active Sky. But then again, we are talking about a product which is currently in beta, so that's sort of what we can expect, I think. So we're coming up on that 150-mile radius ring. Give it a few more seconds. Sometimes ProATC will tell me to start the descent anyway. See, like that. There we go. There's another random transition. Not great, but I'm sure we can live with it. It's not a major problem, I don't think. Can you see why I love the Virgin 747s more than back in 20... Yeah, oh, definitely. Absolutely. That story is absolutely unbelievable. Oops. Oh my goodness me, we've got some traffic. What have we got there? In fact, it's going to be on EFB, isn't it? But I bet you it doesn't tell me what it is. If we can have a look. No, we can't really see it. Oh, there we go. Right, so nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and request our descent.
Boeing YAC-1906, descend to flight level 310.
Descending to flight
310.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 1906.
And while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and configure the aircraft. So, minimums then. Let me sort that out. We're going to use radio. Set that to 200. And we'll do the same on this side. Addy123, hello, good to see you. We are literally beginning our descent, so it's perfect timing. Auto brake, well, I always like to use auto brake 2. What the hell am I opening that for? So auto brake 2. We'll go down and go to the init ref. Flat 30 at 152.
Boeing YAC-1906, descend to flight level 240.
Descending to flight level 240. Boeing Yankee Alpha
So
Charlie
240 on the altitude. And I'm just going to speed up that rate of descent. And what I should have done there was 152 plus 5, so 157. How are you, mate? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? The only thing, it does like a bit of a rapid descent, doesn't it? So, what if I go onto vertical speed and just do like 1200 feet a minute? Probably better, isn't it? Take the speed down a little bit. Because we don't want to be sort of descending too quickly. I'm bored. The weather is crazy bad here in Sweden. It's raining a lot. Is it really? It's we've had quite a bit of rain actually over the past few weeks here in the UK, so I can fully sympathise with how annoying it is.
118.75 Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Düsseldorf Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Good day. With you, passing flight level 2804, flight level 240.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Roger, descend to flight level 170.
Descending to
So 170.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Transavia 5807, identified. Climb to flight level 260.
It was around 34 degrees Celsius here. Yeah, it was. We had like, I think it was 30 degrees or something like that. It was absolutely lovely. Whereas now it's sort of like the temperature has really gone down. And I think we're due some rain for the next few days as well.
Düsseldorf Control 1464. With you at flight level 310. 1464. Roger.
So we're looking good on the descent. We should be at 170 by about 50 miles out.
Contact Düsseldorf on 124.67. Bye-bye.
124.67 Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Düsseldorf Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Good day. With you, passing flight level 2604, flight level 170.
Boeing flight AC-196. Roger.
You can't do much when it's outside when it's raining. No, you can't. That's the only problem. It ruins a lot of the fun. Obviously, as you said, it's good because it waters your plants, it waters your grass. I think last year we went through a patch. It was that warm that although it was lovely to go outside and sunbathe in the back garden, it was also killing all the grass. Like the grass in our back garden was just literally just yellow, just dead. Just going to increase that level of descent, or that rate of descent, a little tiny bit. And in fact, screw it, we're also going to arm the speed brake as well. Because that's probably something I'll end up forgetting. I've got some flowers growing in the garden, but it's destroyed after the rain. Oh yeah, you see, that's the only problem as well. It's partially a good thing, but obviously when it drowns the flowers and stuff, that's obviously, you know, it's not so good at all then. When I go back to Orlando from Manchester next year, it's either a 330, 300 or 200 or a 787. I don't think it'll be a 350. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's just a case of waiting and seeing what they decide, really, isn't it? Sometimes when I've travelled, I've thought, yeah, this is going to be like a 737, you know, this is this and the other, but it's turned out to be like an Airbus or something. Frankfurt, the home of Lufthansa, yes, definitely. I'm sure on the channel at some point I have actually done a Lufthansa flight into or possibly out of Frankfurt. I can't remember. It must have been a long time ago if it's happened. If it's happened at all, in fact.
Boeing flight 8C196, descent to flight level 100.
So 10,000.
Flight 100, Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
And I'll bring the speed back a bit as well. How many miles left? Right, let's have a look. Well, according to this, let me have a look. Where are we? ETA is apparently 12 minutes away. Distance 76 nautical miles. So not too far really now. I'm just hoping we can lose some altitude a little bit quicker, in fact. Doggo Boy, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. It's fantastic to see you again. I'm just going to slightly increase that rate of descent. And I might as well bug up the heading as well to where we are. Oh look. Active sky yet again.
Descent to flight level 100. Expect ILS. Approach runway 25 left.
Descending to flight 100. Expect ILS. Approach runway 25 left. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Whenever I go to the States on holiday, I get an engine view seat with the spiral, but when I fly, I get massive worried. I think something might happen. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised after the experience that you had previously. That would definitely be, yeah, that would worry me, definitely. So we're making a nice descent. We've got some lovely scenery down there. Are you a cruise ship fan? You know, to be fair, I would love to travel on a ship. I've never travelled sort of over the Atlantic on a ship or anything like that. I'd love to do it. But there we go. Smith, hello. Thanks for tuning in. I always joke with my G. No problem. I'm a fan of Disney magic and fantasy. Yeah. I'm definitely a Disney fan. I always have been. Any advice on how to get better FPS? It depends on the settings. I would personally just go back, you know, get rid of all of the configurations that you've got, or any modifications that you might have in your config, and you know, set all the settings to as low as they will go, and then slowly start bringing things up from, you know, from the left to the right, and see if you can get the perfect balance. So I'm going to bring the speed back to 250 knots. I'd always want a window seat, but when I heard about Southwest 1380, I was like, no thank you. Yeah, oh, definitely. I think sometimes like taking the window seat can just make matters worse, can't it? Oh, and there we go. Active sky yet again.
Descend to flight level 90, contact approach control.
So 9,000 feet.
0.8.
Descending to flight level 90, 120.8.
To bring that speed back even more. I know in terms of ATC, I've heard they don't mind too much about the 250 knot rule, with it being a heavy, but we'll try our best to be under 250 knots.
Ryanair 5550, slow to 210 knots.
Slowing down to 210, Ryanair 5550.
So Rollis is the next waypoint, and if we look on here, that's when the actual approach begins. So this should be interesting. And I am going to deploy some speed brakes just to help us reduce that speed, because we've got a tailwind at the moment. And in fact, we can probably use flaps as well, because if we use flap 1, that should help to slow us down a little bit more as well. I'm just going to put the speed brake back, because I'm happy at the speed that we're at. Gotta go to sleep now, busy day tomorrow, good night and happy landing. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ada123, have a good night. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch on some lights. It's a cargo aircraft, so there's no real reason to do this, but I'm going to set the seatbelts and smoking on as well. You see the ILS feathers there, we're actually going to go over those.
Boeing YAC 196, descend to flight level 90. Expect ILS approach runway 25 left.
Descending to flight level 90, expect ILS approach runway 25 left. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Cargo boy, good night mate, thank you very much for tuning in. Unless you're saying good night to Addy, you might be saying good night to him actually. I'm not sure. That speed can come back up now. Just going to make sure that we've got everything in the NavRad page, which we have. That 30 at 152 is still what we had selected, so that's okay. That's 157 if you factor in the 5 knot compensation for the wind. Just trying to help a little bit with that attitude of the nose there as well. But we are at flap 1, so I'm just wondering what the FPS is going to be like over at Frankfurt as well. Shouldn't be too bad, but we'll soon see. The magic and wonder plays when you wish upon a star, but dream and fantasy plays 7 Disney songs over the horn. Yeah. So we have got some traffic, and a lot of it appears to be coming in and around Frankfurt as well, so we'll see what happens. It should be pretty interesting. Good luck for landing. Thank you very much. "55 minutes we've been in the air, or at least since takeoff roll, so it's actually what was calculated might be a little bit off. It said about 1 hour and 31 minutes, but there we go. I want to go on the Qantas project sunrise thing from New York to Sydney. Yeah, I think I've heard about that actually. Right, so here comes the crossover of the localizer in a few minutes. You can actually see where we're going now as well, that's good. You sort of see, it looks to be the airport over there. FPS is now in the 30s. Ah, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was where you see the two sunrises in a flight. I knew what it meant. I'd completely forgotten. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Actually, that would be something I would absolutely love to see. And we're in the 20s. No, mate. Well, that did go into the 20s actually when we focused on Frankfurt over there. Speed to 250. I am indeed going to go to flap 5 just to help with the attitude a little bit. But we're safe anyway because we're below 260 on the speed, so it's fine. I'm not looking forward to the headwind that we've got either. We've got a 31 knot headwind, which I suppose you could say at least it's not like a crosswind. That would be unbelievable, but still. Can't imagine flying in economy for 18 hours plus. Oh, that would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? So that's the airport there. We're looking at about below 30 FPS. And that's with a 2080 Ti and a 9900K, by the way. So that should be fun. Plus 15 knots for VREF. Well, we might as well just crank it all the way up to plus 250. The VREF, we might as well. You can see we're on profile there. That's, it says 30 knots headwind. That's where we are now. We're on profile to where we need to be. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, the FPS has definitely started to drop. I'm happy with the attitude as well. Seems to look good. Here we begin that left turn. And I'm going to go ahead and synchronize. So, 80.
Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Let's try and get down as soon as we can. You can see the localizer diamond there. Speed back to 250. Although I will be dropping that down very, very shortly as well, as we prepare ourselves. Very interesting arrival. Here's another look at it. So we're going to be at 8,000 in plenty of time, and then we'll have to drop to 4,000 by Ledkey. And that takes us directly onto the ILS. It's still a 31 knot headwind that we're going to be dealing with. It's actually slightly more like a side wind, you know, maybe not a crosswind, but that blows around a little bit. Obviously, as ever, throughout the landing phase, I may not see or respond to many messages. 4,600.
Descending to 4,600. QNH 1011 Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
I'm going to take that speed back now as well. just as we start this descent. Visibility 0, yeah. In fact, I'm going to put on the wing and logo lights. And you never know, we might have to conduct a full auto land, which will be very interesting. I'm going to go for flap 10 in a moment. In fact, we'll do that now, in fact. And I'm just going to increase that rate of descent as well.
Approach Lufthansa 825 with you. Passing flight level 90 for 4000.
Let's try and slow us down a little bit.
Descending to 4000. Lufthansa 825.
Get the speed brakes out. I don't want to go over speed. Virtually 0 visibility. Cannot see a thing. We could be about 10 feet off the ground, but I would have no idea about it. Autolandings are boring for me. Yeah, definitely. Same for me. I very, very, very rarely do them. But there we go. Right, so we can go to... sort the barrow out there. Yeah, this is looking interesting, isn't it? And rearm the speed brakes. Oh dear, a bit of turbulence happening as well. That's interesting. Lovely view though, look at that. So here's 4,000. Let's take another. So 157. That's changed slightly. One 156. But look at this. I'm trying to land with extreme crosswinds. Yeah, well, I'm hoping that doesn't happen in this particular flight. At the moment, it's more of a headwind that we're going to be going into, but it's going to be an absolute nightmare if it turns into a crosswind at like 22, 30 odd knots or something like that. To be fair, the wind has sort of dropped because it was at 31 knots and now it's 22. So that's not too bad.
Present altitude, Lufthansa 825.
But there we are, in all our glory. Just for the sake of it, what I am going to do, Ultimate Traffic Live, is I'm going to reset it, because this is where things always end up getting a bit dodgy with Ultimate Traffic Live. They'll either start using the wrong runway, or something, and it's just ridiculous. Technology 22, hello, you are perfectly on time. We are literally just about to land in the next few moments. Thank you very much for joining the stream.
Sending to 4,000. Lufthansa 11.
So here we are beginning that turn. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful view. And this is where we are at the moment. with that 22 knot headwind now. Going to bring the speed back a little bit more. And we should pretty shortly be coming up on those ILS feathers again. You know Captain Canada? Yes, I actually watch Captain Canada quite a bit, to be fair. That and Flight Deck to Sim, I also watch him. I watch quite a few different flight simmers, to be fair. Right, okay, so any time now really we should be calling tower. Zero visibility again.
Lufthansa 1233, passing flight level 96 for Lufthansa. Lufthansa 1233, identified, descent to 4.
Oh, and there's the
1233.
turbulence again. We've not quite got the localizer as of yet. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be lots and lots of fun. A little bit of visibility now. Coming through the clouds. Or a cloud. But look at that. That is absolutely magnificent. Will you ever do a flight with Captain Canada someday? I might possibly do one. I think he uses X-Plane though, and I don't have anything in terms of X-Plane add-ons basically.
373, with you passing 5,000.
So it would be pretty difficult.
Answer line 373, identified, descent to 4,000.
Descending to 4,000. Answer line 373.
It's about to get bumpy. Yep, it certainly is. But there's the localizer. I'm going to go ahead and set that on. VOR lock. Light slope should come in shortly as well. We can click the approach. Going to go down on the speed. Just waiting for the glide. Apologies people if I'm not responding in the chat at the moment. I've got it minimised just for the landing. And we should be hearing from tower anytime soon to allow us to actually land. Give us landing clearance. So final approach speed is 156. So that's 151 plus 5. Just going to keep looking out for that glide. There it is. Activate the approach. And we should start to see that glide start to come in. There we go.
Line 373. Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude, Line 373.
Very little visibility at the moment, but that's because we're going through a cloud.
Approach Croatia 416. With you, passing flight level A3 for 4,000.
Croatia 416. Roger. Descent to 4,000.
Standing to 4,000. Croatia 416.
Lufthansa 1233. Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude, Lufthansa 1233.
Boeing YAC 196. Descent to 4,000.
Descending to 4,000. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Boeing YAC 196. Descent to 4,000.
Descending to 4,000. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
That's 4,000 feet. And here 4,000 comes. A little bit more turbulence. 22 knot headwind, 21 now.
Line 373. Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude, Line 373.
That is a lot of turbulence.
Lufthansa 1233. Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude, Lufthansa 1233.
Okay, so we are captured on the ILS. I'm going to go and slow down to 156. I'm going to go gear down. And we can go flap 20.
Tower Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196. Online. Request landing. Runway 25 left.
Boeing
Flap 25.
1906. Slow to final approach speed. QNH 1011. Clear to land runway 25
And we can go flap 30.
Final approach speed. QNH 101. Clear to land. Runway 25 left. Boeing Yankee Alpha Charlie 196.
Tower, Lufthansa 100, fully short of runway 25.
Lufthansa 100. Line up runway 25.
Flying up runway 25.
My goodness, we've got no visibility. I hope that this doesn't ruin the ability to do a manual landing, because I love doing the manual ones, but we might be looking at an auto, unless we can get some sort of visibility. I can get something, but I can't see the runway. And unless we can actually see enough of the runway to make a safe manual landing, it looks as if we're going to have to leave it up to the autopilot.
Runway 25, clear for takeoff. Lufthansa 100.
Because I can barely see a thing. Something's coming into view. I can see the pappies.
Holding short of runway 25.
Lufthansa 40. Line up runway 25.
Line up runway 25. Lufthansa 40.
Okay, a little bit better. Just going to leave it a little bit longer. I'd rather know that this thing is safe. I mean, look how much we're wiggling around. There's 1,000 feet.
Lufthansa 1233. Slow to 135.
Going down to 135, Lufthansa 1233. Going down to 135, Lufthansa 1233.
Lufthansa 40. Wind 200 at 5. Runway 25 cleared for
A
takeoff.
little bit high at the moment.
25, clear for takeoff.
That's GSX shouting at me.
0.
Okay, I am taking manual control. Wish me luck.
Tower, CityLine 373. Final request landing. Runway 25 left.
373. Cleared to land runway 25 left.
And there's Active Sky throwing some weather at us.
Clear to land runway 25 left. QNH 1011. CityLine 3.
Continue.
Tower, Lufthansa 272. Holding short, runway 25, ready for departure.
Lufthansa 272. Line up runway 25.
Lining up runway 25, Lufthansa 272.
No, I am not happy with that. And why on earth are we not going into Tolga? Why on earth? Okay, well, that's going to happen then. Well, that was a bit strange, wasn't it?
Boeing way 8.
Well, that didn't work, did it?
Gate is right. Contact ground on 1.1.8.
That was certainly not the landing that I was expecting.
196.
Right, okay. Well, I did click Tolga, but obviously I didn't click it enough. Right, let's just stop a minute, and we'll have a look at the replay in a second. My goodness me. Right, nevertheless, we got down. That was fun. It's not butter, absolutely not. It is not butter. That was nowhere near any form of butter that I've ever seen in my life or indeed tasted. That was just unreal. Right. So nevertheless, let's just get rid of that. Request taxi to parking.
Charlie 196.
We can start the APU.
Request taxi to parking.
My goodness. I think we're going to cross a runway at some point as well, so... So, Foxtrot 22,
Cargo 1 gate, Foxtrot 232, Boeing, Yankee
or
Alpha,
232,
Charlie
sorry.
196.
So, that, ladies and gentlemen, was certainly not the best landing. I think there was a bit of a malfunction there with the Tolga button, otherwise we would have been able to perform the necessary go-around. But I think, overall, we should be okay. The aeroplane was like, I ain't going around, put me down, mister. Yeah, exactly. Right, so let's just prepare GSX. So we're going to be going to gate 232, Foxtrot 232. So Foxtrot 232, there we go. I don't need to follow me. Handling by Lufthansa Cargo. Okay, that's no problem, even though we're not Lufthansa. So we are going to be crossing a runway, but for now at least, I'm just going to turn off the landing lights there. We'll switch on the taxis, switch off the strobes, and we can go to standby with the transponder. Parking brake is released. My goodness me, that was not what I expected to happen.
Rock, Lufthansa 232. Request startup.
Lufthansa 232. Startup is approved.
But I'm happy with the FPS. We're looking at, 35, 34, something like that. At least it's in the 30s, that's the main thing.
Lufthansa 232. Request taxi.
Lufthansa 232. Taxi via November.
I'm not sure that the cargo survived it.
November, Lima.
That was a
25.
unbelievably terrible landing.
5 November, 3 November.
But the weather didn't help.
5 Lufthansa
We literally fell from the sky because for some bizarre reason we couldn't sort of toga, go into toga. I should really have just disabled the auto throttle and done it that way, because then I'd have been able to manually. First officer was taking control during the landing. Captain was monitoring. But yeah, if I'd have gone with sort of manual on the throttle, I think would have been okay. Doggo boy, thanks for tuning in. Good night. So it looks like we're going on to Mike 30, and that's where we're going to cross a runway here, which is going to be runway 07 centre. Which is right there. Technology 22, thank you for tuning in. 23:57 in the UK. Indeed it is. I'll be going to bed soon myself. Good night. Thank you very much for tuning in. Right, okay, so we are crossing a runway, so transponder and lights and strobes. Check for traffic. There isn't any. Almost 1 AM in Belgium. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a hell of a lot to have viewers from all sorts of places around the world. Especially when you stay up this late just to watch me. Got to stop the clock as well, didn't I? So 1 hour and 26 minutes, but we'll put it down as like 1 hour and 20 minutes, because it's taken about 6 minutes for me to get over the fact that we made such a big hash of the entire thing. Right, okay, so here we go.
Ground, Croatia 416 is clear of the runway. Request taxi to parking.
416, taxi via Mike 13, Mike Lima to gate Victor 12.
Via Mike 13, Mike Lima to gate Victor 160 to Croatia 416.
And it looks like we're going to be following this round onto November. I couldn't miss your stream. Thanks a lot, it means a lot. Thanks a lot, it means a lot. That doesn't really make sense, does it? But thank you very much, it means a lot. There we go. I do like Frankfurt Airport though. I mean, look at it. It looks absolutely beautiful. I'm actually surprised how it's such a big airport, but it performs so well in the sim.
1185, taxi via Lima, uniform Sierra, Romeo, Mike, gate Victor 17.
I did forget actually, didn't I? We can turn those off now because we've lost the runway. Switch those off as well. Don't need the logo or anything on now. So it looks as if we're going to be turning right up here, and then our cargo is Foxtrot 232.
Ground Lufthansa 1306. Request startup and pushback.
Lufthansa 1306. Startup is
Brian the Pilot, big fan of your channel. You've helped me with PC building and sim optimization. Glad to see you live. Hope you're staying healthy during these times. Thank you very much, Brian. It means a hell of a lot. Yeah, I'm trying my best. As ever, it's just a hit and miss with life these days. But I think we're managing. I hope you're doing well too. Captain K. Peterkin, amazing stream, brother. Oh, awesome stream, brother. Can't wait to see them replays. Yeah, definitely. We're going to have a look at those in a moment. Although the flaps will be a bit dodgy because we've put the flaps in, so flaps are up, so it look a bit weird, but we'll look at the replay anyway because that was just hilarious. Right, so Foxtrot 232. Where are we? I will probably end up going past it. 232, here we go.
Is cleared of the runway. Request taxi to parking.
Lufthansa 1027, taxiway Papa, November to gate Victor.
I'll switch these off.
Papa November to gate Victor.
If that one will even go off, there we go.
Lufthansa 1027. Ground Europa 1502. Request taxi.
1502, taxiway November, Lima, Lima 1, runway 25.
Via November Lima Lima 1 to runway 25 Europa 1502.
Ground Lufthansa 430, request taxi. Lufthansa 430, taxiway November, Lima, runway 25.
Okay,
To runway 25.
and we will leave it there. Right. So let's just go up, and before we do anything in terms of cutting over to the engines and everything, what I'm switching the engines off, I'm going to go down and have a look at the replays. So first of all, let's disable OATCX and Ultimate Traffic Live because they for some reason do not like replays. We can go to PMDG setup, options and sound, and I always set the master to 0 because otherwise you get the master cautions coming on and saying that you're too low and gear and stuff like that. But that won't happen if we do this. So let's go to replays, show the replay window, and we have to go all the way back. Hopefully this is not going to crash the sim. And let's just take a look from the EDDF tower and see what sort of hash we made of this landing. Again, the flaps probably won't look right. And GSX is obviously still asking me to cut the engines because it thinks we're at the gate still. But this was just terrible. This was probably one of the worst landings. But it's all about fun. Just staying inside, yeah, that is basically what you've got to do. It's just it's a bit boring, but then again, better safe than sorry, I suppose. What the hell is happening with these artifacts on the right-hand side of the screen? I have no idea. And the bottom. So I think this is the point where we noticed it wasn't going to go very well, and I did try to press toga. The aircraft wasn't having any of it, and there we go. That, oh my goodness me, look at that, look at that. And then, to be fair, I could have got away with that. And then, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That wasn't very good, was it? That was near enough a tail strike as well. Not quite, I don't think, but yeah. And then finally the reversers kicked in. But that was the absolutely stupendous landing that we did. That was obviously not stupendous. But there we go. So this is funny as well, because what's going to happen now is I'm going to click unpause. And, oh no. Usually it throws you out of the parking spot. So I can set this back to 50% now. I can go up. Switch over to the APU gens. Let's just have a look. The engine fuel levers can be stopped or put to the cut-off position. I'm going to connect ground power immediately. Where are we? Where are we? Ground power's connected. We can transfer over to that. Hydraulics can come off. I'm going to switch off the fuel pumps. And the packs, we might as well switch off the beacon light. And we can request some deboarding. So let's go over and open the doors. Entry 1 and 2. Side cargo. Forward and aft cargo and bulk cargo. And there we go, all the doors are opening there. It's telling me to open the forward cargo, but it is actually opening. Welcome everybody once again, despite the absolutely complete failure of a landing. Hopefully next time it'll go better. Thanks for watching. Welcome to good old Frankfurt. It's been a fantastic stream. I've really enjoyed it. But there we go. It is now 7 minutes past midnight in the UK, so I'm going to get myself in bed. And we're back at it tomorrow and see what tomorrow brings. See if I can get some more videos up at some point soon. I will be trying to do some more streams as well on a regular basis. So if you've got any flight ideas, even if you want me to do it in this particular livery, have a look at my add-on spreadsheet, see what I've got installed and what I haven't got installed, and try and sort of come up with some ideas for a flight. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. It's been absolutely fantastic this evening. Just gotta go home and gotta get help with the groceries. Okay, no problem at all, Doggo Boy. See you when we see you next. Thank you for tuning in. Good night, everybody. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.